Well, U.S. airports are on high alert in the wake of the attack in Turkey and ahead of a busy holiday weekend. TSA hasn't changed any of their security methods, but some airports, they're adding more police presence. CBS News travel editor Peter Greenberg joins me now to dive into what to expect this holiday weekend. Thank you for joining us, Peter. Yeah. I want to ask you about Istanbul. It's actually one of my favorite places to travel to. It's a fun place, yes, even for a family. How do you think this attack's going to impact travel there?
Well, if you take a look at Istanbul, it's the third busiest airport in Europe, one of the largest airports in the world, and it's the crossroads for the Middle East, North Africa, and Asia. And yet that airport is operating right now. They did not close the airport. The airline that's, of course, based there, Turkish Airlines, flies to more international destinations than any other airline in the world. So it was incumbent upon them, if they could do it, and they have, to keep that airport open. Now, having said that, who's going? There's always an immediate drop-off in traffic, whether it was Paris last November, Brussels after that attack at the airport, and now Istanbul. We've already seen cruise lines completely avoid Istanbul for the last 2 months, and they're not even on their summer itineraries. This will come back, though, because it's summer, people are traveling, and if you know, it's not a question of going to Istanbul. Most people go through it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. It really is a midway point to so many countries, as you mentioned. Yeah. There's talk also about security now. Do we create a perimeter even before you get to the gates, even before you get to the entrance of the airports? And what could that do when it comes to times getting through?
Well, let's go back to right after 9/11. At some major airports like Los Angeles International, they did create that perimeter. They not only created the perimeter, they changed the rules. No meeters and greeters, no family and friends, no private vehicles. It had to be vetted taxis, limos, or buses. And then you were inspected in those buses, taxis, or limos, hoods open, trunks open before you ever got to the airport. Here's the good news. The airports worked. They moved very fast. The delays were minimal. It only lasted a few weeks because the airport concessionaires complained of loss of revenue. And it was a money issue. They went back to it. But look what they're doing at airports like that now. They went back to that perimeter check. They do it randomly now. Not every car, but randomly. They haven't put the old rules back, but now they're going to have to look at one more thing. Not just departure level, arrival level, because that's what was vulnerable in Istanbul. That's where those bombs were detonated, in the arrivals area.
Oh, that's an interesting point. Extra layer of security maybe for there. But do you think that this at some point will be implemented here, this perimeter security outside of the airport here in the U.S.?
On a case-by-case basis, it will, because you get back to the architecture and the design of the airport. Some airports just don't work that way. Yeah. They can't. But in big airports like Los Angeles, like Dallas, where you have many, many avenues going in from outside the airport, not just one road, they can do it.
Okay. Peter Greenberg, our travel editor. I enjoy following you on Twitter, Peter, by the way. You've got great tips. Thank you for joining us.